Hello, I'm Gertie Spencer. Today is February the 14th, 2012. We're here at the Heritage Museum, who sponsors this oral history, and today we're visiting with Gary Calfee. Hi Gary, how are you?
Hello, Gertie.
We've been visiting about our grandparents being neighbors, so we've got a lot to talk about today. When did your family come to Montgomery County?
About 1873.
Okay. And did they locate where you live now, or are you?
About a mile north of where I live now.
Okay. Where did they come from?
Matagorda County. And prior to that, they came from Fayetteville, Arkansas area down to Alexandria, Louisiana, and then around to Matagorda County.
All right. And they came to farm or to be merchants or what?
I came to make a living, I guess. That's the only way to do it was farm.
And you say they lived a mile from you,
Yeah.
which north, south, or
Yeah,
which one?
north.
Gary lives out on Longmire Road, east of the river, and probably how many miles north of the loop?
3 8/10.
3 8/10. And he and his father and his family have lived on that piece of property how long?
That original piece was acquired in 1910 where the house is. And the rest of it was put together over a period of years.
Did your grandparents live out there too?
Yes.
I thought the pictures that you've given the museum, I remember.
Grandparents and great-grandparents.
Your grandmama was taking a drink of water to your
Yeah,
granddaddy while he
yeah.
was plowing, which was a neat picture. Well, tell us about, we'll visit about your family, and tell me what you'd like for us to know about the Calfees.
Well,
Now, all good things, okay?
you probably already know it all. I don't know where to start on that, Gertie.
Well, tell us about your daddy.
Well, he was born there, born in Willis, 1912, and lived his whole life there on the place.
Married a neighbor girl, right?
Yeah, married
The big Fultz family.
Yeah, right across the river.
Right.
Yeah, she was a Fultz.
And he went to a one-room school. It was the White Oaks.
White Oak School. It was just about 200 yards south of my house. Little one-room school.
Right. We also have pictures of that too here in the museum.
I've still got the old school bell, little hand bell.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, really? His main, was it beef, or was it farming, or
he
raise the crops to feed the
He was in the cattle business
cattle business?
all his life. Did it all.
And when you were born, do you have siblings?
Got one sister.
And you live about halfway between Conroe and Willis, but you
Yes.
went to school in Willis,
Went to
correct?
school in Willis.
Well, tell us about school days in Willis.
Well, it's a lot different than it was now.
How'd you get there? Did you have a bus? Or
Rode a bus. Rode a bus. Bus covered about a third of the west part of the school district. Try to get home every day, so I got big enough. A lot of times I rode a horse to school.
All right.
Albert Myers had a barn about on the next block from the school. I could put my horse there and go to school.
That's interesting.
Yeah. Didn't do it every day, but a lot of times.
Did your mama have to pack you a lunch to take with you?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah. What was your favorite lunch?
Oh, I can't remember, Gertie.
Oh, just anything she
Yeah.
cooked. Okay. And your sister went to school there also.
Yeah.
When did you graduate from Willis
I
High School?
graduated in 1964. I think there was 29 or 30 in my graduating
Oh,
class.
really? Well, what kind of activities were you interested in school?
Probably getting away as quick as I could.
Oh.
Going out to old man Guy Hooper's and helping him with his cattle and anything else like that.
So you weren't involved in the sports?
Not a whole lot.
Okay. And what did your sister do? Was she in the band, or?
Oh yeah, she did it all. Band, cheerleader.
And I guess she rode the bus. She didn't ride a
No,
horse.
she didn't ride a horse. She rode the bus.
What do you remember about the town in Willis? Did you spend as much time as a child in Willis and shopping or whatever your folks did, or Conroe, or both?
Well, there wasn't much to shop in Willis. It didn't even have a full-blown grocery store back in those days. So my mother would do her grocery shopping in Conroe. And, I spent a lot of time in Willis. It was pretty rural town back in those days. You knew everybody.
Right, and they knew you and
Yeah.
knew everything you did.
Oh,
Probably
yeah,
like
yeah.
a big family. Everything we did as
Yeah,
kids, somebody
yeah.
knew what we did. What about, have you been in the military at all?
No.
You were between
Yeah.
the wars and so forth. And what kind of crops? You said your father was a rancher more than he was.
Yeah, he never raised any crops per se other than hay. Just feed for his cattle.
Okay. And what was your mama? What did she do? How did she spend her time?
She took care of the household.
Did she have a garden?
Oh yeah, had a big garden.
Milk a cow?
She
Who milked the cow?
She didn't milk the cow, but there was a cow milk.
You didn't either?
Well, a little bit, yeah.
Okay. I never learned to milk a cow. I had an uncle tried to teach me. I never did. Did she quilt or sew, or did she have?
She sewed. I don't ever remember her quilting much. Probably did when she was younger.
And tell me about some of your family get-togethers. I know you were from a large family, and I know we have some pictures of you when you were little. And what do you remember about visiting with your grandparents or your aunts or uncles or so forth?
Well, everybody always got together on Christmas and, just had a big family gathering. I guess that's the main thing I remember. Always glad to see everybody.
And how many cousins did you have? Can you remember? A whole bunch?
Yeah, too many to count.
Were they close enough for you to play? Is that where those were your playmates?
No, they were all, a lot of them were older than I was, and we didn't see that much of them in that regard.
Okay, you rode your horse some. Now, what kind of transportation did y'all have when you were a kid? A truck or car?
Oh, we had a car and pickup. In those days, before gooseneck trailers, all the people that had cattle had a bobtail cattle truck.
Right.
I drove it to school a good bit when I got old enough to drive.
Did you go swimming in a creek or the
Yeah,
river?
we had a pretty sizable lake down in front of the house.
And you were pretty close to the river. What about that?
River was about 1.5 miles behind the house,
Okay.
yeah.
Did you do a little fishing?
Oh, yeah.
What about hunting?
Oh, yeah.
So you
did it all.
You did it. How young were you when you started, or how old were you when you started?
I was young enough. I really can't remember.
Okay. So you had a gun when you were like 8 or 10 years old.
A whole lot different than the kids
Right,
today.
right. And your house, what kind of utilities were you? Did you have a telephone?
We didn't for a long time. We had to finally build a phone line from our home to the edge of Conroe to even get a telephone. Built our own phone line.
Yeah.
Had to keep it up, maintain it.
So you had a Conroe telephone?
Yeah, yeah.
And what about electricity?
Yeah, we had electricity, yeah.
And that was a rural carrier?
REA out of Livingston. I don't
good-
think they had electricity too long before I was born out there.
When were you born?
1946.
Okay. Outhouses, barns, what kind of?
Oh, we had barns of various kinds, and we had. Of course, when I arrived on the scene, we had indoor plumbing, but the three-holer was still out back.
You had a privy, huh?
Yeah, it was a three-holer.
Okay. Well, the Weissingers had a 6-holer.
Is
They had
that
so many kids at home. Oh, okay. You had a phone. And what did you have? Butane, a wood stove.
Yeah.
Did your mama cook on a wood stove?
No, I don't. Wood stoves
We're gone.
were gone. She had butane.
And medical facilities. What did you had to come to Conroe for that
Had to
if
come
you
to
didn't
Conroe.
have it?
Yeah, no doctors in Willis.
Okay. And can you remember your doctor?
Dr. Sadler.
Oh, okay. Sadler came in the 40s. We already had a hospital. I was born before they had a hospital here.
I was
so.
born in the old hospital.
Oh, okay. And when you got out of school, what did you do then, when you graduated from high school?
Well, I went to Sam Houston State College for a while, and we joined Pop in agriculture pursuits.
So you worked with the family?
Yeah.
And your family, you and your daddy had a processing,
Yeah.
meat processing plant. And when did that open, and how long did
He
that?
built the first building in 1957 just to market his cattle crop through, his calf crop.
Well, tell us the procedure. Would a person come with their cow, or did
Well,
they buy your cow?
that wasn't the original intent. He was
You wanted to sell cattle.
he was going to open it once a year and market his calf crop to the stores and meat markets, and then everybody wanted to start bringing cattle in, getting them processed, and he did that for a while, and it was more than he intended to do to start with, so he leased it out. And then in 1965 or 6, I guess, I took it and ran it for a long time, built a new building there, and we did a lot of custom slaughtering, but we also did a lot of cattle feeding and marketing the carcasses into the Houston markets. Had trucks running and delivering. We finally closed it down in 1979. We've made offices out of the building now.
Okay. And I know you live in your parents' home, and your daddy had built a new home before he died.
Yeah.
And who resides, who's your neighbor?
And my daughter now.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah.
And you tell us about your daughter.
Well, she was born in 1973, and went to school and went to college, and she's out working now like everybody else.
Okay. And you remarried to Patty, and I think a lot of us know Patty, and y'all been married and live out there on the home place.
Yeah.
And another phase of business on your property was timber. Did you do timber? Or?
Yeah, my grandfather had a sawmill. He sold his last mill in 1948. It was there on the place. And then I got involved, I guess about 89 or so, into some timber harvesting, and did that for a few years. And as things changed in the county, the timber was getting a good bit more scarce, and I finally sold out.
Well, you had equipment where you went to someone's land.
Yeah.
And you bought their
bought
their
the timber.
timber.
Yeah. Harvested it, took it to the mills.
Okay. I remember somebody telling me you had some kind of equipment that would pick up.
Oh yeah, we had a.
So you were.
Yeah, we were certainly mechanized.
And you had employed how many people to do that type work?
Oh, probably 10, 15.
Yeah. And you mainly worked in Montgomery County?
Mostly, yeah. Yeah, a little bit out of the county.
How did you project when you went to someone's property, how much money that was going to involve timber off that property?
Well, we had foresters
that did that for
cruised
you?
the timber and tallied the timber for us.
Okay.
You know.
And
They were pretty
did
accurate.
projections for
Pretty
you.
accurate.
Yeah. I have something in the front room in the museum that I want you to look at, because it's an old wooden thing that they used to figure out how much a crop of timber would be.
Probably a scale stick.
It is,
Yeah.
it is. I want you to tell me how to work it, or how it worked. And in the last phase of your livelihood, you have started land developing. Tell us about that. How many acres of land are you developing?
Well, we had about 300 acres on the lake, about a mile of shoreline, and we ran cattle on it till 1999, and decided if we couldn't whip them, we might as well join them. So we started developing it.
So you have waterfront, upscale homes.
Yeah.
And about how many people have already purchased, and how many lots do you have left, or what?
There's probably about 80 homes in there.
Oh, I hadn't been out there in a long time.
Yeah.
Well, it was really pretty and wooded and lakefront. It's real close to the
Real close to the dam.
dam.
the dam, a good part of the dam was on our original property there.
Okay, we've talked about all the days that you were in a rural situation, and you're not really in a rural
No,
situation
no.
anymore. How did that change your?
I
know there's got to be good and bad things.
Yeah, you know, everybody back prior to the lake had big, nice places, and everything was clean, and you knew everybody, and it's been quite a change.
And people, not just the lake property has developed, the property along.
Oh yeah, all of it, yeah.
Along my road has,
yeah.
so that's brought a lot of folks down your way.
Yeah, you know, years ago there wasn't hardly anybody between us and Conroe living in that area, and just a few.
Longmires and the
yeah,
Calfees
yeah.
and.
Yeah, but now then there's quite a change. No rural area left hardly.
I understand they're going to widen that road.
They're widening a league line, just about to finish it now. They've made a 4-lane curb and gutted concrete street out of it, which is good. It was needed.
Do you know what the projection?
I don't know what
Longmire?
the projections are on Longmire. I think it'll probably be a while.
Yeah. What about politics? Were you ever involved with politics?
No, not really.
Anybody in your family? I know one of the folks had served as the commissioner.
Yeah, had a couple of cousins that was commissioners, but I never was interested in it.
Well, I think that'd be a hard road to hoe.
Yeah.
But you and I did know one politician that we enjoyed knowing and listening to some of his tales, T.J. Peel.
Oh yeah, I had a lot of fun with T.J.
Yeah. Well, things have changed so, and those folks that we knew back when we were growing up probably wouldn't even recognize.
No, they wouldn't recognize it.
What's happened to the lake area and to all around the Conroe and other towns here in Montgomery County. If that's all you want to share with us, we'll call it quits today, but we sure have enjoyed having you.
Enjoyed doing it.
And I know I wanted particularly people to know how the lake impacted a family, a ranching family, and you just got smaller and smaller, didn't you?
Yeah.
They took did they take some of your land for the lake?
Yeah, we lost a good bit of it under the lake.
Right.
A big portion of the dam was built on our property.
And your mother was a Fultz, so the Fultz and the Calfee family lived right in there that was involved. My grandparents were on the other side of the river, so they were involved a little bit like that.
But back to your question, we were one of the last to sell out to the River Authority. We finally took them to court, got a better price for it.
Well, we didn't.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much for sharing all your information, and good luck to you and your family, and